So believe me, you really have to try hard if you only want to gain the recommended amount of weight. It's not something that will just naturally happen. Thanks for watching. Today's video is going to be on how to minimize pregnancy weight gain. I've been pregnant twice, and with both of my pregnancies I did not gain too much weight. I gained within the recommended amount of weight, around 25 pounds with both pregnancies. And I found that that really helped me snap right back after giving birth. I also was able to avoid getting stretch marks, and I think that was one key component. And so I wanted to share some tips with you on how I went about doing that. And if you follow all of my tips, you should be able to do the same with your pregnancy. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first tip that I'm going to give you is to track your food intake, and by that I mean to figure out your calorie intake and your macro intake, so how much protein, fat, and carbs you take in per day. Figure out how much you'd need to eat if you weren't pregnant, and then for each trimester you need to add a certain number of calories per trimester. For the first trimester, you really don't need to add a lot of calories. For the second trimester, I believe it's something like 200 to 300 additional calories, and for the third trimester, it's around 350 to 400 additional calories. It is not a huge amount of calories. It is the equivalent of having an extra snack, and you can really control how quickly you gain weight by really making sure that you stick within your target calorie intake per day. I like to use MyFitnessPal. It's a free app that you can install on your phone, and you can also just use a pencil and paper method. Get yourself a small notepad and just write down what you're eating daily. So believe me, you really have to try hard if you only want to gain the recommended amount of weight. It's not something that will just naturally happen. For me, if I just ate whatever I wanted, even if I was eating healthy food, I would probably have gained a lot more weight, just because you do get more hungry, you know that you're pregnant, and you feel this need to eat more for the baby. But if you keep track of what you're doing, if you eat only the right foods, you will keep it under control. The second tip that I want to give is to cut out refined sugar. And I was pretty strict with this, especially during my first pregnancy. And I'm not talking about fruit, that's fine. But I do mean having things like sweets, like cakes and cookies and pastries. A lot of people will tell you to go ahead and indulge while you're pregnant, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But my personal opinion is that you can indulge after you have a baby, especially if you're planning on breastfeeding. That's a great time to indulge. But while you're pregnant, if you overindulge, you'll probably gain weight really quickly. Your hormones change, everything changes in a way that will support weight gain. The third tip that I have is to cut out processed food. So this is kind of related to the second tip, but a little bit different. Basically, if you cook from scratch, you'll know all the ingredients that are going into every meal that you cook. You can make sure that they're really healthy and that they really support the growth and development of your baby. If you eat a lot of processed junk food, in general, those foods kind of make you want to eat more of them. They're also not very satisfying, so you tend to get hungry sooner. They tend to have a lot of calories for a small volume, so you end up just wanting to eat a lot more instead of eating a lot of healthy, nutritious food, which is what your body needs anyway. All right, my fifth tip is to eat regularly, and by that I mean eating 3 meals a day with snacks in between. So every few hours you want to be eating something, and it should in theory be something healthy. If you make sure you're eating every few hours, you're less likely to want to reach for something that's really unhealthy just because you're so hungry. I definitely had breakfast and then a snack in between, sometimes even 2 snacks before lunch. Then I would eat my lunch and have another 2, maybe even 3 snacks before dinner, and then after dinner I would again have another snack and then go to bed. And eating that way definitely made sure that I never was reaching for just junk food or anything that was just available. I was able to really plan out what I was going to eat. So this might mean doing a little more planning, a little more meal prep in advance. I would make things like mini muffins, I would have granola and different trail mixes, some small cheese portions measured out, nuts, different things that I could just have on hand because I was working at the time. So I would bring little bags of different snacks and I would eat them throughout the day. And I find that that really, really helped and also made me able to eat all the foods that I needed. So some of my snacks would be fruits, some of them would be vegetables, some of them would have really good fats, some of them would have complex carbs in them, and then I also made sure that my main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, were also really healthy and a little bit extra calories for those meals, so those were kind of bigger portions. The next tip that I have is to drink water. Drink a lot of water throughout the day. And this is really important for a lot of reasons. Water does help keep you full, but you also really need water while you're pregnant for the development of your baby, especially for the amniotic fluid that your baby is basically swimming around inside. And if you watch my pregnancy videos, you'll see that I did have some complications with my second pregnancy. I was not as diligent with drinking water, and I ended up having a really low amniotic fluid level. So it's super important to drink a lot of water, and it really does reduce the amount of weight that you gain because you might be just eating because you're thirsty and not hungry. The next tip that I have is to exercise daily. You don't have to do crazy amounts of exercise. They don't have to be super intense, but you need to move your body every single day. So there's so many reasons that you should exercise. One of them is definitely that it will help you to control your weight gain because you'll be burning a few extra calories. It gets you in the right mindset for healthy eating because you start feeling really good about yourself because you're already kind of moving your body and trying to stay fit during your pregnancy. So that just in general helps you make better choices. It's also great for getting the baby into the right position so you avoid having a baby that's in that breech position. And staying active also will help you to have an easier labor and delivery. The next tip that I have is to track your weight gain by trimester. So what I did in order to track my weight gain per trimester is figure out how much weight I should be gaining in order to hit the 25-pound weight gain. So I basically mapped out, according to my pregnancy, from the time that I got pregnant to the time that I was going to deliver the baby at 40 weeks, or the expected delivery date, I kind of mapped out how much weight I was targeting to gain per trimester. And that just gives you a way of monitoring whether you are gaining weight too fast or too slow, or if you're right on track. It can be off by a few pounds per trimester, but the idea is just to kind of get you watching what you're doing so that you can make any corrections. If you start to see that you're gaining a ton of weight in the first trimester, then you can take a closer look at what you're eating and you can map it out on your calendar. I did it in my phone. I kind of said, okay, in my first trimester, I don't really want to gain any weight, so I don't expect to gain more than 2 or 3 pounds. So that would put me at this weight. Then by my second trimester, I'm hoping to only gain around 5 to 10 pounds, so that would put me at this weight. And then in my third trimester, I'm expecting to gain another 10 pounds or 15 pounds. And then you can actually break it down, say, per every 2 weeks and say, okay, if I'm looking to gain 10 pounds, then maybe I need to gain 2 pounds every 2 weeks. So that's like a pound a week. And then you can kind of keep an eye on how you're progressing with your weight gain and make any adjustments. You don't have to be super rigid with how much you're gaining. If you gain an extra pound 1 week, that doesn't mean that you need to cut back on your calories or anything, but you can actually just look at what you're eating and see if there's room for improvement anywhere, or just wait for the next week and then see how things go. All right, the next tip that I have is to eat a diet high in fiber. This is really helpful for maintaining your weight gain, making sure things flow through your body as efficiently and quickly as possible. You can definitely have slower digestion. You can experience constipation. If you're also taking additional supplements like iron, that can also have an effect on your digestion and how quickly things are processed and eliminated from your body. And it can also help keep you full. A lot of the foods that are high in fiber tend to be really healthy for you, so you'll end up eating a lot more healthy foods as well. I always make a habit of getting a lot of fiber first thing in the morning. I eat a cereal that's really high in fiber. I also try and eat vegetables at every meal. I like to snack on fruit that's high in fiber, and I also like to introduce things into my diet like flax seeds, which are high in fiber, and they're also high in really good omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, and the last tip is related to the macro amounts that you're eating. So by macros, I'm talking about protein, carbs, and fats. So I already recommended eliminating refined sugar and to eliminate processed foods. But as a result, you're going to have to eat something. If your diet was heavy in those things and you're going to cut those things out, you're going to have to focus on eating other things, right? So what I would definitely suggest is to try and increase good fats, increase your protein intake, and increase your vegetable intake. So protein is really good for growth, for repair in your body, for muscle building. So by eating a diet that is high in good quality protein, you're going to help the development and growth of your baby. You're going to help your body to repair and maintain its muscle mass, and you will feel full because protein is actually very filling. Good fats are really satisfying, so they will make you feel full for longer. They're really important for the development of your baby. Babies come out and they're mostly fat. Also, their brain health is also linked directly to eating a diet that's high in omega-3s. So you want to really focus on getting good quality fats. And vegetables are really high in fiber. They are high in water. They'll help you feel full for longer. They will improve your digestion, and they're full of nutrients. They're full of vitamins and minerals. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos. I'm doing an entire series on pregnancy. I also have a lot of recipe videos if you're interested. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.